Hey guys, Tiffany with another video, and as you guys saw in the title, this is going to be another one of my hauled it but how was it videos. You guys already know this series is when I come back and show you guys products after I've reviewed it. I've worn them for a while. I let you know my thoughts. How did it work on me? Am I happy with the purchase, or is it something that needs to be taken back to the store? Have a whole playlist dedicated to these videos, so make sure you go back and check it out. And you may find some products that you've been curious about whether or not they were things that you needed to add or just leave right where they were. But no more talking, let's get started. So I feel like I really need to start this video off with some products that I recently picked up. Y'all know I usually like to at least wear products for about 30 days to really test them out. And really see the effects. But there are times when I would try out a product and I can just kind of instantly tell my thought process is not going to change, and that is definitely how I feel about these products that I'm about to show you guys. They are from Fenty. I already know the navy is gonna be ready to pounce, but at the same time, y'all know how I am. Like, I have to tell my truth. I have to let you guys know if something works or didn't work. And in this instance, this ain't work for me. For the Fenty concealers, I just did a sort of demo and wear test on these. If you guys have not already checked out that video, I'll leave a link right here. You can go back and check it out just so you can see shade ranges and all that stuff, because I'm not really going to do swatches in this video. But I did pick up two shades. I picked up 380 and 340. Here is 380 right here. Now in the foundation, I've always been between 380 and 390. She did come out with the new shade 385. I swatched it in store. This one is 340. I will tell you, I'm interested in picking up the new foundation because I love the Fenty foundation. I love it mixed with a radiant foundation. I will tell you that is the best. If you are into mixing foundation, mix your Fenty foundation with, say, the NARS, the new NARS Radiant if you have it, and I'm telling you, the finish of it is absolutely gorgeous. But just overall, I do really love the Fenty foundation. I had high hopes for the concealer, but no, girl. Listen, first off, I found that the concealer creased on me, which is not necessarily a deal breaker for me. I have creasy eyes. Okay, I have crazy eyes. It is what it is. So I do have concealers that I love, and eventually they are going to crease on me. That is something that I know. But I felt like this concealer just creased so fast. Like, it didn't even stand a chance. It creased really fast. So that was one of the things that I didn't care for. But the main thing for me, I feel like for the price of this concealer does not give off the best coverage. I know that it claims to be like a medium to full coverage. It has like so many claims. It's supposed to be a spot concealer and cover up certain things. I don't necessarily find that claim to be true. I wore this for about 3 days. Again, I know that's not a lot of time, but my thought process is solid because I got the same outlook every time with this. I just was not a fan. I feel like the coverage for the price is not there. I have cheaper concealers. Like today I am wearing the Makeup Revolution and the Flower Beauty concealer mix because I mixed two different shades. And I feel like it gives such a better outcome. Like, even in the video, you can see a lot of you guys commented what I already knew, but I was kind of trying to save my final thoughts for this particular video. But you could see it didn't look how my makeup normally looks. Like, it was off. The coverage of it was off. I don't have the darkest circles. I do suffer with like under eye bags. I suffer with puffiness, and I do have some deeper like skin issues. Like the skin, my skin color is different underneath my eyes. Am I rambling? I am rambling. But basically, you guys know, if you watch my channel, I've done a lot of videos with no makeup on. I do have certain eye issues that I struggle with. I just found that the coverage was not there, and even building it up, it was never truly there. And I feel like for the price, I'm expecting that concealer to do some amazing things, and it didn't do that. I don't think there's like a whole lot of coverage. I think you got to kind of do manipulation with it, and that's just not what I look for in a concealer. So overall, for me, I was not impressed, and I'm actually going to take these back to the store. Y'all know me. Like, it has to really be like a for me to take it back to the store. And I just feel like these concealers were more hype than anything. And of course, that's not going to be for everybody. You're probably going to find people who love the concealer and it just worked amazing for them. And although I wanted it to, it just didn't. But in keeping with the Fenty releases, I do want to talk about the powder because I picked up the powder as well. And I picked up this shade Hazelnut. I told you guys in that video, when I saw Hazelnut in the store, I instantly thought of my Dermablend Warm Saffron, which is my all-time favorite loose setting powder. So it reminded me of that. I swatched it. It was actually still like the same exact shade as the Dermablend Warm Saffron. And I really like the powder. I set my under eye with that. It wasn't like super drying. I feel like it was a really silky and lightweight. It gave an amazing finish. Today I actually used it to set my entire face, and that's not something I normally do. I usually just stick with the Dermablend Warm Saffron underneath the eye because I don't like a super highlighted look. I like a more natural highlight. That's just what works for me. If you love banana powder, baby, get your banana powder life together. But that's just not what works for me. But I did set my entire face with this today, and I really, really love how it's looking. So the powder, I love. I think the powder is great so far. Like I said, I'm one of those people, I'll know instantly if a loose setting powder is going to work for me. This just instantly felt right. So I love the powder. Hate the concealers. Hated it. Just no. But the powder is right up there with the rest of the great complexion products from Fenty that I love. So next I want to talk about something that I picked up from Milani. This is the Milani Instant Touch Blur Stick. Here is what the packaging looks like. It is a twist up product, and it's just like a, I don't know, like a twist up blur stick. It's a twist up stick. There was only one shade, which was 01 transparent. So clearly I can swatch it and you're not really gonna see anything. I actually really like this. It has such a smooth, soft feel on the skin. I was not using this as an all over face blur stick. I use this just in certain areas, just here where I suffer with a lot of big pores. I got big crater pores. You guys hear me say it all the time. So I have a lot of pore issues here. This works really good in those areas. Now, if you're going to layer this on top of another primer, like I found that this and the Touch de Silk Canvas primer don't work well together. But of course, the Touch de Silk Canvas does a great job blurring on its own. But you want to be careful which primers you put this with. I felt like on those times where I wore more of a hydrating primer, this worked really well on top of it. But if you kind of put it on top of like a super drying matte, not super drying, but a super matte primer, it kind of balls up a little bit, so you want to be careful of that. But just on its own, I feel like it did a really good job. It does a good job at blurring out my pores, which was, I mean, what it's intended for. It's a blur stick. But would I recommend this as like an all over primer? No, because I also don't think that's what it's intended for. But just for the purpose of being a blur stick, I do think it did a really good job. I'm wearing it today just for blurring out my pores, and I really like it. A highlighter that I picked up recently from Juvia's Place. If you guys are not necessarily new to my channel, but if you know me from my never purchasing Juvia's Place again video, then you should also know that I did an update on that as far as is it time for me to give Juvia's Place a second chance, and I picked up some new products. This was one of the things I got. I got the Heroine Glow 1 by Juvias. Here's what the packaging looks like, and then when you open it up on the inside, the highlighter just kind of sits on the inside. I'm not a fan of the packaging. In a sense, I feel like the packaging is a little bulky and it's a little inconvenient, just based on how my highlighters, you know, usually are kind of flat and easier to kind of stack together. This one I kind of have to keep off to the side because it's just a little bulky. Again, this one is the Heroine Glow 1. There is also a Heroine Glow 2, but that is it right there. Let me try and build it up. So I don't think it's showing up all that great, but that is it right there. I am wearing it layered with another highlighter today, so it's layered with something else. It's layered with a highlighter from the Makeup Revolution highlighter palette. I have to say this is not my favorite highlighter, and I'm not saying that just because it's Juvia's Place, I promise. I purchased the products intending on actually giving them a fair shot, and you guys know I am a fan of highlighter. I just feel like this particular one doesn't do the best of things on its own with my skin tone. It just it comes off a little too goldish orange for me, and that's not something that I look for. But I do think it layers well with other highlighters. Just on its own, it's not that great. Another thing I didn't like, I feel like you have to really be careful if you're like me and you have texture issues. So I have texture issues here. It's not really, well, I'm trying to combat it, but it's not much I can do. I'm noticing a difference, but I think I'm always going to have some type of texture issues just genetically, and I feel like you have to be really careful because it kind of gets patchy. If you have those texture issues, you have to be really careful when it comes to blending. Just overall, it's not my favorite. I think, again, the shade really throws me off. They do have a Heroine Glow too. So if there's another sale coming up, I may pick up that one because maybe that one is a little bit more suited for my skin tone. But I'm not really a fan of that. And then finally, I want to talk about this BH Cosmetics primer. This is the BH Studio Pro Anti-Shine Primer. Here is how that looks. You can find BH Cosmetics, of course, online, but you can also find BH Cosmetics at Ulta. I think that's really cool. This is, again, just an anti-shine primer. It's supposed to diminish pore appearance and oil. Now, I am one of those people that is combo oily, and like I've said before thousands of times, I do suffer with pore issues. I found that I really like this, but I actually liked it alone. On those days where I wasn't wearing any makeup and just going to work, I usually do not wear any makeup other than brows and maybe some mascara when I go to work. But I've been finding that I've been getting like super oily at work, and I don't know if it's just a combination of moving around constantly, or sometimes you're outside, sometimes you're inside. Like, I really don't know what it is, but my skin has just been like really oily at work. So I find that I actually like putting this on, kind of just like dabbing it in the places that I know for a fact I'm going to be oily, and it does a really good job at keeping the oil at bay. And I feel like it also diminishes the size of my pores. It doesn't make them completely disappear. It's not voila magic, but I do think it does a good job at kind of making them a little bit less noticeable. So I've actually really been enjoying this. It almost puts me in the mind of the Benefit primer, the one that everyone loves. It kind of has that same type of feel and texture, and also even the same type of color to it, but I again think it does a really great job. Alright guys, so that is it for this edition of Hauled It, but how was it? Let me know what you guys think of the products that I showed. I already know, again, like a lot of you guys are going to come for me as far as the Fenty is concerned. I applaud Rihanna for coming out with 50 shades. You know, I love the fact that she's giving us options. I thought I was going to be on the bandwagon and on board when it comes to that concealer, but I'm sorry, it's just not working for me at all. So it is what it is. If y'all gonna dislike and y'all gonna tag me, I'm ready for it. But let me know what you guys think of the products I showed, and that's whether you like or dislike them, and anything else you guys want to tell me down below. I say it all the time, I truly love and appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys for continuing to share my videos. Thank you for getting the word out there. Thank you for just constantly supporting me. I truly appreciate it, and I can't say that enough. And until next time, bye YouTube.